Mr. Speaker, that revolution advocated for three things. Number one, equality and fraternity.
Mr. Speaker, the member for Embakasi East
What is out of order?
is beating drums of war. It is very unfortunate to use this
Order.
forum, Mr.
What's
Speaker.
standing order, Kagombe?
The relevance of what the member of parliament is speaking about is not relevant to the bill that we are discussing here. What he's doing is taking an opportunity to use this floor to beat drums of
I want to talk about the Gen Z protests last year. Okay, the Gen Zs, they first started their voices were not heard. Okay, the Gen Zs, they first started their voices were not heard. And do you think what they were advocating for, they got what they were advocating for? And if they did get it, or whether they got it or not, is there any way that actually the youth can actually advocate for their rights and they can be heard? Their rights can be heard and they implemented in the constitution, whatever they want to be done.
Actually, looking at it in two different sides, to some extent the protest yielded fruits, and to some extent their voices were never heard. Because there was blood which was shed during the protest, and of course the expectations were that the current regime vacate office, which of course didn't happen. But now, looking at it in the context of our economy, at some point, our economy could deteriorate if this were to continue. But anyway, the obvious truth is that we were ready to lose life, let go whichever it is to achieve a dream which was shattered. So I feel the Gen Z protest yielded some fruit in the sense that at least some youths were incorporated to some extent, and some of their grievances were addressed. But still, like I said before, the youths have a voice. And for our voices to be heard as the youths, I still go back to social media. We've got so many different social media platforms. The only problem is that sometimes we tend not to use it in a manner which accrues to some benefit, or rather yield some benefit to us the people. Like, if we were to decide that as youth, when it comes to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok, we will be trying to address our issues. We must be heard. Remember, Kenya, as opposed to Germany, and of course Italy. In Italy, the older or the aged forms a higher percentage of their population. But in Kenya, the higher percentage of our population are the youths. And so if we were able to come out, agitate, then obviously our voices will be heard. But there is a red indicator that I have to tell the youths, that going to the street and shouting does not make a change when we don't register as voters. In that respect and in that regards, many of our youths must now register as voters, because when we register as voters, then we will have a voice. And we also have to form different groups within ourselves as the youth, to conduct civic education, to remind the youths that we need to do this. Because I believe we live in a country where some people operate from the point of ignorance. Yes, I know this is to be done, but I don't care. So if we have someone coming to remind them in a rude way that should you fail to do this, then your future is going to be ruined. Because you have a right, you have a choice and have the power to dictate the kind of leadership you'd want to have only if you vote. So we have to go back to registering as voters so that we can elect the leaders whom we want.
How do you see the future of youth participation in politics?
You see, seated from where I sit, and I looked at this, I realized that as a country we've got so many challenges. time is coming, and a time has come when the youth themselves have come to the full realization that my voice can be heard. And if I don't shout to that which I want, no one will come to act upon it. That is why we are having so many young brains, we are having so many parties coming in. A lot is going to change in our political landscape. You know, we are not only looking for a youthful leader, but we are looking for a leader whose ideologies marries and would resonate with the intentions of the youth. Some of these being job creation, digital innovation, and of course, reform in our education system. And I believe the only people who pass this right are the youths, because these are people growing at a time when artificial intelligence is at its top notch, going against the people who believe that things should be done the way they used to happen in the early 90s. You know, there is a generational gap here. The same way someone below the age of 30 understands the technology is rather different from that individual at the age of 60. Because we see things from two different styles. And the only way to address this is that we, the youths, must now wake up to take leadership position. And you can confirm this by many of us, beginning from as low position as the MCA, registering so that they become aspirants in the coming general election. And even in our presidency position, we are having so many youths aspiring to be there. It is very true that sometimes they may start the political waters in the 2027, knowing very well that they will not get the political biblical healing. But nonetheless, they shall have made some steps to make them take the positions, or rather the seat, come 2032. And the only fact you can't erase, they will still be youths. So, I'm giving a trajectory of more than 50% of our leaders come 2027 being the youths. From whichever position you may speak of, from the MCA to the MP to the Senate, and even, who knows, maybe to the presidency. So, we know we can, and we must wake up for this one. Because this is the only way we can grow as a country. When we instill fresh minds, new blood, and of course visionary leaders. Because of the generational dynamics, the generational gap, and of course the artificial intelligence age that we live in.